Pardon the interruption, but I'm James Franklin. And do you know what it's like to win 70% of your games and get fired?
I'm Brian Kelly. Yes, I do. I guess that makes us family, huh?
I guess
family.
I guess so.
That Southern accent I invented.
Well, that wasn't quite,
I'm from Boston.
Family.
I'm trying.
You got to get that right.
Welcome to the PTI Halloween special, boys and girls. Today's episode, the Blue Jays can close out the Dodgers. Victor Wembanyama does it again. And is Penn State or LSU the better job? But we begin today with last night's NFL game where Lamar Jackson returned to the field for Baltimore and showed no effects of the hamstring injury that had kept him on the sideline. Jackson threw 4 touchdown passes, no interceptions, had a monster rating of 143.2 as the Ravens destroyed Miami 28-6. In response, Miami has fired its general manager, Chris Greer, today and said Mike McDaniel will stay on as coach for the rest of this season. Wilbon, where do you want to start?
Tony, the only place I care to start is Baltimore. And, you know, I did agree with Lamar Jackson to the extent that while you're not playing, you know, single elimination all season, they are playing that now. And they're playing it last week and this week and for the next 3 weeks because they need to win 5 in a row. They need to get back in it, get on Pittsburgh's heels, and that's all last night meant. They beat a homecoming opponent in Miami. So I'm not going to go crazy about the nature of the victory. It's result-based. That's what the Ravens needed. Their defense looked like something the Ravens might be proud of over the last 25 years. Again, they're now averaging up allowing 13 points a game the last 3 games. And Lamar Jackson looks like the MVP he's been.
Yeah.
That's that.
Yeah.
I understand that Greer's fired. He's been there a while. He had a decent enough run. They're going to make changes anywhere in the NFL when you're 2-7 coming off another non-playoff season. So that's what's up with Miami. But the news here to me today, competitively, is all about the Ravens.
I think those glasses sell you as James Franklin. I do.
Good.
I think those work. I think those work.
This doesn't sell me. Popping my sweatshirt jersey.
No. So we learned what we knew to be true, that Baltimore's better with Lamar Jackson than they are without him. And he may not be much in the playoffs, but he's great in the regular season. He could be MVP every year. He's got 14 touchdown passes and 1 interception already this year. 14-1, it's a great ratio. Derrick Henry may not have the amount of steps he had before, though he looked good last night. Defense isn't as good as it was before, but they're the best team in that division. Nobody's going to be surprised when they make the playoffs. Miami's a bad team, all right, and they make terrible mistakes. They had long gains that were taken back for stupid penalties last night. They gave up the ball in their own zone of the field last night. They were at home. They scored 6 points against a defense that previously was allowing 30 points a game. When I went to sleep last night, I thought Mike McDaniel would be fired when I woke up in the morning. Instead, they have fired the general manager. I don't know that I would have done that, but they had to do something. They got a trade deadline coming up. Let's see if they're active at the trade deadline. Let's see if they're buyers or sellers. Mike, I think Miami is one of the 2 most disappointing teams in the league, Miami and Washington. And I'll just tell you this. Baltimore came into this game. Yeah, I do. Baltimore came into this game 2-5. And on the road, they were 7.5-point favorite. What does that tell you about Miami? Miami's no good. They're no good.
They beat a homecoming opponent.
They're no
they
good.
did what they were supposed to do. If they beat the bad teams on their schedule, they'll climb just even with Pittsburgh, and then we'll see in the last 3 weeks. That's the deal. So let's move to the World Series. The Blue Jays can win it tonight at home in Game 6, and they're sending Kevin Gausman to the mound to get it done. The Dodgers counter with Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who's thrown complete game wins fabulously in his last 2 outings. Tony, what sort of chance do you give the Dodgers to force a Game 7?
I give him a very good chance because of Yamamoto. As you said, 2 complete game wins in the playoffs in his last 2 outings. 1, by the way, against Toronto. The last time this was done was 2001 by Curt Schilling. The guy's thrown 18 innings recently, 15 strikeouts, 1 walk. You know, I mean, look, if I had to bet on anybody, his ERA in the postseason is 1.54. If I had to place a bet on anybody in this series, I would bet on Yamamoto. Now, there is another side to this. You know, Toronto's a really good team at home. During the regular season, they were 54-27. And there is this historical fact that I referred to last week, that this is the 5th time since 1985 that one team that got into the World Series got in by sweeping its opponent in the LCS. The other team took 7 games to get into the World Series. And in all 4 previous times, the team that took 7 won the World Series. That would be Toronto. There's another thing, Mike. The Dodgers, when they go down 3-2 in a World Series, they lose. They're 0-6 in World Series when they go down 3-2. But that doesn't mean I can't bet on Yamamoto to get them into a Game 7.
No, true enough, Tony. I don't care anything about the statistical stuff other than the Dodgers hitters aren't hitting. You can't go out there and strike out 15 times. I don't give a damn about any of that other stuff. 15 strikeouts in the last game. They better cut the strikeouts, the Dodgers, from 15 to 5, or they have no chance tonight. I believe they will cut their strikeouts. Does it mean they'll get clutch hitting? Does it mean that moving Mookie Betts down to the 4 spot to clean up is going to somehow transform the Dodgers lineup? No. Does it mean that they don't get bombs from Shohei, all right, that the Dodgers will somehow find hitting elsewhere? No, it doesn't. And what we know is Toronto puts bat on ball. Toronto
they've outscored
plays
the Dodgers by 11.
National League Baseball. That's what Toronto does. And the Dodgers are playing old American League 1970s style Earl Weaver, wait for, the 3-run homer. Tone, that's not going to work tonight. They better go to National League Baseball and produce some damn runs, or they're going home.
I heard you say you don't care at all about statistics. You only care what you care about. Maybe you'd still have that job at Penn State if you cared a little more about statistics. Let's move to basketball. Victor Wembanyama had 27 points, 18 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 blocks. Woo. As the San Antonio Spurs move to 5-0 for the first time in franchise history, beating Miami 107-101. Wilbon, you've been drooling over Wembanyama all season already. Do you see Wembanyama and the Spurs as legitimate competition for the champion Oklahoma City Thunder, who won last night to go to 6-0?
Not yet. Not yet, Tony. And by the way, people know Wembanyama now. They don't know Castle. They know Castle from UConn, but they don't understand that Castle's going to be. When I saw Castle in college, I thought he's the next SGA. He's on that track. Last night, he had something like 24, 8, and 6. He's a perfect complement to Wembanyama.
Yeah.
He's just, and I told you before the season, not when it started, this wasn't bandwagon hopping. I told you Wembanyama is the guy to watch. That's the deal. Shohei and Wembanyama, these are the 2 transformative athletes worldwide today. And my man, the 17-year-old soccer player. So, Tony, I don't think they can challenge OKC yet. It's like watching a young Jordan's Bulls when Jordan was MVP and he was averaging 37 and they couldn't beat Detroit. What?
You listening to me?
Yeah. You mean Lamar? Yes. Thank you. But it's like watching young Jordan when he could not take out Detroit. He could not take out the bad boy Pistons. I don't think.
Let me say it like Brian Kelly would say.
Enough.
Let me say it like Brian Kelly would say, "You're welcome." Like that Southern accent. Look,
the show needed that.
I was amazed. I was amazed that this is the first time San Antonio was ever 5-0. Are you telling me that the teams with David Robinson and Tim Duncan were not 5-0? The 5 championship teams, none of them were 5-0. I was absolutely floored by that. Let me just mention, let me mention a couple of things. And I know they're statistical and I know you hate them, but let's do this. Wembanyama, in his first 120 NBA games, has more points than LeBron. He has more blocks than Akeem Olajuwon. He has more threes than Steph Curry. They are the all-time statistical leaders in these categories, Mike. He has more rebounds than Karl Malone. The NBA is talking in October about something that might or might not happen in June. Wembanyama is special. I mean, I concede that, though, to be fair on one thing, Mike, the first 4 teams that they beat were pretty much dogs. Dallas fired Nico, and the Pelicans and Brooklyn and Toronto combined record 3-16. Let's take a break. Still to come, LSU and Penn State have vacancies after firing their incredibly smart, handsome, and charismatic football coaches. Come on, people. Which school has the better job?
And the Chiefs visit the Bills Sunday. Who cares? Which team do you favor, BK? Toss up is next.
BK, I thought
not even
BK
shooting
was
threes.
Brian Kenny. I thought it was Brian Kenny. Yeah, Wembanyama, oh, he's good, but don't go crazy just about him. No, there's other players too. Come on.
No, they do. They do. I'm just saying he's the MVP. Right now, he's the MVP.
Pardon the Interruption is presented by... Welcome back to Pardon the Interruption, presented by Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea, part of Happy Hour.
It's time for toss-up. Two men enter, one man leaves, finishes the show, realizes he was in his mid-40s when the new manager of the Nationals was born, then dry heaves in front of the bathroom mirror. What's first?
Toss up better job, LSU or Penn State?
I just want to say family again. I love saying family. I sound like Charles Barkley, except he was born in Alabama and I was born in Boston. Brian Kelly, born in Boston. Okay. Penn State was a very good job for a long time because they didn't fire coaches. They didn't do that. It's amazing how quickly LSU fired guys who won national championships and in my case, fired someone who did not win a national championship. But the fact of the matter is, it's easier to win a national championship at LSU. Though I think right now, James, I think right now LSU is the worst job because the governor of Pennsylvania is not attempting to pick the next coach at Penn State. And the governor of Louisiana has set himself up as the athletic director at LSU. And you know he wants to pick the next coach. He's already forced out the AD. I think a lot of good coaches are going to go, I don't know about that place. I think LSU really looks bad right now. But I would just ask you as the Penn State football coach, how did you lose to Northwestern? How did that happen?
Tough school, smart kids, purposeful, good line play, kicked our butts in state cup. By the way, BK, I got some candy corn. I got the Brox.
Hey,
any other candy corn is fraudulent. You got to have the Brox.
I don't like candy corn.
Candy corn. Okay. I'm just saying.
The
rest of it's a mess. It's the greatest candy in the world, candy corn. The better job is Penn State because all you got to beat, because there's one school that is automatically ahead of you. Only Ohio State. Don't tell me Oregon yet. I don't want to hear that. Michigan goes, they go up and down, the school up north. They're not always in your face. It's Ohio State. While in the SEC, you got either Alabama or Georgia every year and sometimes both. You got Mississippi popping its name into the conversation. You got Florida, which is going to get a good coach and give you a problem. You got so many schools in the SEC that can win. In the Big Ten, you don't have that. Yeah. So, Oklahoma, Texas, you got Texas.
Indiana's moving up. Indiana's moving up.
They are moving up. They're moving up. Oregon. But Penn State's got one team above it, Ohio State, and I don't trust them. So the answer is Penn State. Get yourself some candy corn and a James Franklin sweatshirt. You're good.
What's next?
Toss up. Who do you favor on Sunday, the Chiefs or the Bills?
Okay, I am leaning towards Buffalo, and I'm leaning towards Buffalo because this is a regular season game. Josh Allen is 4-1 against Kansas City in regular season games. He is 0-4 against Kansas City in playoff games. This is not the playoffs, right? I wish I could tell you that Josh Allen was 4-0 in Buffalo in regular season games against Kansas City. I can't. He's only 1-1, which means he's 3-0 in Kansas City against Mahomes. I never would have bet on that. I never would have done that. I believe that this is a big game for Buffalo. I don't think it's the same for Kansas City. I think Kansas City's next big game is in a couple of weeks at Denver. So I'm going to lean towards Buffalo without a lot of confidence.
Yeah, I mean, Tony, the game doesn't matter to Kansas City as much. I don't know that this is a big game for Buffalo. It matters to Buffalo enormously, emotionally. You know what that's like up there. You know how much they care about this game in that part of New York and Bills Mafia and all that stuff. It matters deeply to them. Kansas City's going, yeah, whatever. We'll see what happens in February. So I lean toward Buffalo simply because it matters more. They're going to be the more desperate team Sunday playing at home, where you mentioned they've won these games. I think that's all that matters. The rest of that stuff doesn't inform me. What informs me is I've been in Buffalo for these games that matter. It used to be Miami. It used to be New England. It matters so largely to them. I think they're going to win, and I think you believe that, BK, too, because you were up in that part of the world at one point in your life.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And it's great to go to a game in Buffalo. I mean, it's a wonderful experience. It's the candy corn thing that's getting to me. I don't like candy corn. You are fixated on candy corn. You're fixated on it. I don't know. I don't know. I like Almond Joy and Reese's. That's it. I win. Let's take one last break. Coming up, the Jaguars get bad news about Travis Hunter,
while the Rams get some good news about Puka. Wilbon can't eat candy corn, but James Franklin can pour a bag of it down his throat. How about that?
Yeah. Well, that's a great skill. You could use that as a resume builder to get the next job. You can pay me in candy corn. Although you also have...
Pardon the Interruption is presented by the refreshing taste of Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Please drink responsibly. Part of Happy Hour.
Happy time, people. Happy 90th birthday tomorrow, Gary Player. In the 1960s and 70s, the big three in golf were Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus, and Gary Player. Player won 9 majors, the same number as Ben Hogan. Player's first major and the first of his 3 British Opens was in 1959 at Muirfield in Scotland. He later won at Carnoustie and at Royal Lytham. Player won the U.S. Open at Bellerive and the PGA twice at Aronimink near Philadelphia and at Oakland Hills in Michigan. Player won the Masters 3 times and is at Augusta every year for the ceremonial first tee shot. In later years, Player became known for physical fitness and the prodigious amount of push-ups and sit-ups he does.
Tony, it seems later in his life that Gary Player has become just a person of magnitude, a heroic figure. I don't just mean golf, I mean across international sport, an ambassador, if you will. He just seems like, wow, we've still got Gary Player. We are pretty damn lucky to have him.
Happy anniversary, Earl Lloyd. History lesson, kids. This is posthumous, but on this day 75 years ago, Lloyd became the first black player in the NBA. Lloyd was one of 3 Harlem Globetrotters to enter the league in 1950, but because of how their schedules worked out, Lloyd made his debut 1 day ahead of Chuck Cooper and 4 days before Sweetwater Clifton. The 6'5" forward played just 7 games for the Washington Capitals, who folded in a couple of months. After military service, Lloyd joined the Syracuse Nationals in 1952 and played on their NBA championship team in 1955, alongside Dolph Schayes and Paul Seymour. Lloyd later played for the Detroit Pistons and still later coached them.
Tony, I know that you have a reverence for the Harlem Globetrotters that 2 generations don't really have because they don't know how great they were, and you do know that. How about the other athletes who played other sports Hall of Famers? Lou Brock, Bob Gibson, Fergie Jenkins, and Wilt, same sport. These were all Globetrotters. People don't know.
Globies.
They should have the sense of history about the Globetrotters.
Yep. Happy trails, Travis Hunter. The Jaguars' 2-way rookie suffered a non-contact knee injury while playing defense in practice on Thursday and will miss at least 4 games. Hunter had been moving into the team's #1 receiver slot and was coming off his best offensive game of the season, 8 catches for 101 yards and a touchdown against the Rams. Last year's Heisman winner has played 67% of the Jags' offensive snaps and 36% of their defensive snaps. The team has had all sorts of injuries at receiver, and head coach Liam Cohn said, quote, "It's definitely not ideal timing," unquote.
Tony, the thing that surprises me is he's played so many more snaps on offense, given how he came into the league. But, Tony, the thing that worries you about this kid is the workload. How many plays can you play? I know it happened in practice, but the workload, the number of plays, the stress, the wear and tear on that body. There's a reason why nobody does this anymore. I got to ask my dear friend Roy Green out here in the desert, who did it at those 2 positions, what that must be like today.
He came in the league wanting to do it. They're giving him the opportunity to do it. I'm sure it makes him very happy. Let's go to the big finish. The WNBA and the Players Union agreed to a 30-day extension to their CBA. Does that make sense?
I don't know. I just want them to get a deal. Just get a deal. That's all that matters to me on that issue. Puka says he feels fantastic and is ready to go Sunday against the Saints. Is that a big deal?
He's a great receiver, and the Saints are not going to give him hard opposition. They're 24th in the league, I believe, on defense and points allowed. Deshaun Jackson and Delaware State beat Michael Vick and Norfolk State. Your thoughts?
Happened in Philly, where they played together in that city and were big stars. That was very cool, Tony. Breeders' Cup this weekend. I bet you're intrigued.
Yeah, Sovereignty was scratched in the Classic, so my friend Eddie likes Sierra Leone. That's a race I like to watch.
It's going to be hard. I'm watching that. Time to get into ball night, Tony. Come on now.
We're out of time. We'll try to do better the next time. I'm Brian Kelly.
And I'm James Franklin. Have a great weekend, knuckleheads.
PTI's bonus segment.
All right, Wilbon, we got Dodgers, Blue Jays, Game 6 tonight. Who you got?
I'm not a bettor. I don't know who I got. I know what I'm wishing for. I'm wishing for a Game 7, because unless it's one of my teams involved, I'm always wishing for a Game 7. That's the logical sports fan thing to do. I think the Dodgers, of course, can force a Game 7 if they get Yamamoto to go a quality start. Not a complete game, but a quality start. And they get some timely hitting. Mookie Betts isn't the only guy, but you could start with him, Freddie Freeman. Yes, those two. You can't just leave it up to the new babe to just crush home runs out of the country of Canada. Maybe you can. But I'm just rooting for a Game 7, Tony, but I fear that Toronto really knows how to do something basic, a National League-style thing, putting bat on ball, producing runs, and winning this game. But I'd like to see a Game 7.
Yeah, Toronto's better than I thought. I've watched them now over the course of 3 different series, and they are better than I thought. You know, if I have to pick tonight, I'm going to go with Yamamoto, because Yamamoto's last 2 starts were complete game wins in the playoffs, and that hasn't happened since Curt Schilling did it in 2001. And the Dodgers are not hitting. We all understand that. But if your pitcher goes out there for 7 or 8 innings and only gives up 1 run, you don't have to score a lot of runs in return. And that's exactly what happened the last time. 1 run, he gave up 1 run in 9 innings to Toronto the last time he started. It's just hard for me to believe. Yeah, I look at that lineup. I look at the Dodger lineup. You know, Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman and Shohei Ohtani, Teoscar Hernandez, Kiki Hernandez, Max Muncy, Will Smith. It's Edmund. It's hard for me to believe they don't score any runs. You know, so maybe there's a breakout game. Again, I'm not going to predict that they win the World Series, but maybe there's a breakout game tonight, and the best pitcher you can have in that circumstance is Yamamoto. Yeah.
Well, they better break out of 15 damn strikeouts. You can't have that. You can't have that against Toronto. No. You're not going to win that way no matter what Yamamoto does. So they got to support him. Tony, giving up 1 run tonight in Toronto, that's asking a lot. You're asking a lot. Yep. I know he's delivered a lot so far.
He did it last time. He faced them in Toronto,
he
right?
Did.
In game 2, threw a complete game and gave up 1 run. So it's not like he's never done it.
I know, just asking for a repeat, man. You're asking for a lot. You don't ask that much of your players at LSU, apparently, do you? That's it.
No.
We're done.
But they're my family. Family. Them. Me.